What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. If you don't already know, you've got about 10 days left here. If you follow my link down in the description, you deposit more than $100, Webull is going to double, not one, but two free stocks for you, valued greater than $8. It's a great way to get started, mitigate some of that risk, and obviously, a lot of people are taking advantage of this. I woke up this morning and I had just a ton of shares of Cledera, three more. And I had mentioned over the weekend about purchasing a closed-end fund, the PIMCO, Corporate and Income Opportunities Fund, and I went ahead and I did sell one of the Cledera shares this morning, as well as one of the shares of Opera, the web browser, so that we could fund that purchase and still have a little bit of money left over. Technically, I could, buy another share of NRO if I wanted, but what I've decided to do is just let that money sit. It's only about $4 to be fair. Sit in the account for a little bit. We'll add that to some dividend payments, and then we'll kind of grow from there. I will hold on to the Opera share for eternity. To me, it's something that I want to hold on to, and I probably will, in all fairness, hold on to a handful of the other Cledera shares that I'm getting. Just right now, I think the better opportunity was to enter this closed-end fund as opposed to hold yet another tech asset when we already have, a web browser here. We're obviously going to get a number of more shares of Cledera, so I think we're okay from that standpoint. But I do want to talk about the dividend payments. Not only we've shown how they grow this account, but my main account, my Robinhood account. So I hit a milestone, right? And I am so proud of this. Like, anybody that invests knows the $100 in a month is kind of that first big step when you start to see the snowball come downhill, right? And by that, I mean just the avalanche of monthly payments. So getting to $100 really was not easy. I hit like 90, 99, 98, but now you can see projected 137.05. There has to be something catastrophic that happens for me not to hit this. I mean, like, several companies would have to either suspend dividends or go out of business. Big companies, Cisco-sized companies, right? Probably not going to happen. So I guess with that mindset, as I realized this last night, basically what happens is I take Sunday Night Football's pregame show and I sit down and I keep up with all my investments, right? I put in my dividend portfolio. I look at both of my portfolios and track them in terms of my purchases or my sells. And then I sit back and I basically adjust, where things are going to be, look at buys that I want to take advantage of this week, things along those lines. So for whatever reason, I got to thinking about what took me so long to start doing this, right? And a lot of what took me time to do this was being ignorant, being uneducated, being uninformed. And I say that because it's almost embarrassing for me to sit here and talk about this. Because essentially what I did is I allowed others to tell me their experiences and then never once look into it for myself. Right? Now, there's times that's okay, right? If somebody goes to a restaurant and says, hey, that restaurant isn't good, then I'll generally say, okay, I'm not going to go to that restaurant. If they see a movie, they say, hey, that movie isn't any good. Okay, I'm not going to go see that movie, or I won't make it a priority on my list. But I do know in my life, I had people come to me and express that the stock market was a horrible thing, right? It's how you lost money. I lost everything I owned in the stock market. And it's funny because I've had several people in my life tell me that. I've lost everything I had in the stock market. And I never asked for any clarification. I should have asked right at that moment to clarify what exactly they lost, right? Did you put $20 in the stock market and you lost that $20? Or did you sell every worldly possession you owned, decided to live under a tree, but took all that money, put it into the stock market, and then somehow you managed to lose all of that money? Because honestly, if that happened to someone, I would want to know how. I would want to know how that's possible. Because my experience has been, although I will offer it takes an unhealthy desire to look into financials of companies and understand companies that you invest in, it would be very difficult if I wanted to lose this $451 that we've grown, by the way, from just over 100. If I wanted to lose this money, I might be able to do it before the end of the year. I would have to try. I would literally have to seek out terrible investments. But I suppose I could. But when I'm working in the opposite order, when I'm looking at undervalued companies, when I'm looking at companies I trust in, I understand, I believe in, then there's really great opportunities for growth. And as far as losing money, listen, we're here right now, right? We bought CVS in this portfolio at a price I thought was fair, and we're down like $6. But guess what? I've only lost money when I actually decide to hit that sell button. Now, am I frustrated? Am I irritated? Am I disappointed that I lost value in my purchase? Absolutely. But I lose value in purchases every single day. I purchased a half a gallon of milk last week. I have lost 80% of that milk. Now, granted, I've either put it in cereal or used it in recipes. I've used it, right? But the value that I paid for that milk is no longer in that carton. I've found some other place for it. I look at the stock market much in the same way. Like, your value is there, and you only lose it until you throw it out completely. Until I say to myself, I'm done with this milk. It is expired. I will throw the rest away and chalk this up as a loss. That is when you lose money in the market. Until that day that you have total control over in most cases. You elect when you sell it, unless you get yourself into some type of margin mess. You elect when you control to sell it. That's what I never fully grasped. That's what I never fully understood. So I let someone else put money into something, make horrendous decisions, both in what to invest in, how to invest, and then what to do once you're invested. And I took that as the gospel of what I needed to do. Yet when I started to do it, even in one of the worst times to invest, I still found relative success. My main account is still up almost, if not more than $2,000 today. That's just increased value from what I bought. So when you think about it that way, and I try to relate to people that say the stock market is a scam, how do those people plan on retiring? Right? This is 2020, not 1920, not 1930. So when someone says to me, I don't invest because it's all a scam, so you're never going to have a 401k? You're never going to have any type of retirement plan? You're going to take extra money you make and put it in a savings account with a 0.1% return? Or you're going to stuff it under your mattress and hope that it magically grows, and the day that you need to retire, you're going to lift your mattress and you're going to take out the money you need for that day and hope you have enough for the rest of your life? I never really had these concepts find out in my head. Like, I know based on my age, Social Security will not be an option for me that I can depend on, but I just assumed that my 401k would handle things for me. But now I know that it's not going to be enough, and that I have myself the ability to control what I'm doing financially going forward. And that's why when people talk to me about, oh, you're going to lose all your money, oh, how stressful is this? I wish I could tell those people how unstressful this is. It's the complete opposite. Because I know on any given day where I could have had $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, I probably would have spent, right, on things I did not need, did not want, and could not tell you what they were. That is now sitting in an account that is growing money for me. And God forbid I needed that money tomorrow. I could theoretically take it out. I don't want to do that because I've seen the success of this. I've seen how my process works for me, not for everyone else, right? And I also understand there's a lot of opportunities out there that I didn't take advantage of. I think about them all the time. Somebody tells me, oh, I bought into NEO. Look at all the money I've made. Well, I looked at NEO. I didn't buy into it. You know, you're not going to be able to hit every single great stock. You're not going to be able to win on every single ticket. But if you can be confident in what you're doing, if you can be comfortable in your goals, if you can be accepting of what you're doing, then there's really no reason to not do this, in my opinion, for me. I can only tell you my experience. And my experience is every single day I wake up in a better place. Sure, there's bad weeks. Sure, there's bad days. Sure, there's going to be a bad month or two coming up here, right? Like, mentally, I'm preparing for that. But the stability of knowing I have not only this money, but these payments, that is what truly matters to me. That's what truly makes me feel more financially secure, more financially free. And $100 a month, when a few years ago I didn't have any of that coming in. You know, now I see when people talk about retiring with dividends what they mean. Because that $100 could pay my trash bill this month. Actually, for this quarter. My trash isn't that expensive. I don't work at EA Sports. It could pay my phone bill this month. It could pay my TV this month. Right? And all I have to do is get my dividend payments to meet my bills. And then I don't have to worry about my bills anymore. And isn't that a great thing to think about? So, I wanted to take more than a couple minutes to talk about how my journey has been, what I'm doing with my, really, channel funds. Try to be as transparent as I can. I don't know anybody else that actually comes on YouTube and says, hey, here's what I do with the money I make from my channel, and here's how, if you want to try it, you can see similar results. And yet I still have people that come out and defy it. I still have people that literally look at an account here that is up 10% for the year and tell me I've lost everything I've had, or I'm going to lose everything I had. It doesn't make any sense to me. I have a feeling most people that watch my channel are very intelligent, analytical, smart, and capable. And if you take all those same traits that it makes to watch a football play and understand how it works, and you apply it to other aspects of life, including the stock market, you will be successful. You just have to apply it. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. Back in the week with more commentary.